Okay, Luke, we're up on your roof. We're actually out on the street, side street side, and we'll go up here. Obviously, you can see we've got some debris here, which is your pointing falling down. I don't think I'm going to tell you much that you don't already know. Let's go over here and have a look at this. You can see this is the pointing falling away. Now you can see under there, that bedding's, I can move that with my fingers. I can't move that rather with my fingers. So that bedding's good. That just needs a repoint there. We'll come back and fix that in a second. Okay. Now we'll just go down this hip here. You can see the pointing's falling out there. Probably not telling you anything you don't really know. Chip tile there. Quite probably aware of this, but we've got a lizard that actually lives in here. That obviously has no bedding. It needs to be bedded. Don't know exactly why that's got no bedding there, but that would be clearly taking water in. If it wasn't for these trees here, that would protect it from the weather a bit. Okay, let's step over here. Now, one of the problems with rain is that, as a general rule, it's quite a good thing. Rain's okay, but when you've got wind behind rain, so depending on the direction of the wind and the heaviness of the rain, clearly if you can see under here, if the wind was coming from this direction, it could easily blow up here and up and over that. That's not a particularly really sophisticated flashing there. It's pretty, it's not going to protect from a lot of water coming into there, so that's quite probably one spot. It could be getting in up here as well. We'd have to pull the tiles back and have a bit of a sticky beak. This whole thing here's, all a bit, how's your father? Up under there, you can see all of these holes under the tiles there, and that obviously is a perfect hole for if weather's coming from this direction to blow up underneath the tiles. That's why flashing has to be a lot longer than that, because clearly if it only has to blow up a little bit from the bottom of this tile to get over that flashing. And we'll move on. There's lots and lots of chips. I've actually counted. Again, I'll show you here. That flashing is just really not long enough. We'll go back and put all them back in a minute. Okay. Let's have a look under there. That looks all right. Okay, so I counted about 36 broken or chipped tiles. There's probably really about 40 by the time the roof gets cleaned properly. And then you've got 6 spares if you don't already have them. So, talking, pretty close to 50 tiles to go on the roof. There's another one there. Now, this flashing here, you can see, this flashing has fallen away. It's meant to be up in this groove, and you can see that it's not sitting properly. So water could get under there. Again, it all depends on the direction of the wind and the heaviness of the rainfall. If you get heavy rainfall and wind, you can push it up underneath those things. There's a chip valley tile. Over here we've got a valley cut, which that is done by a tile cutter. But what I would suggest is we take that out and we put a proper tile in, and we just cut it with a diamond saw. It'll take us about 5 minutes to do it. Now, this ridge here, the 2 hips back there, that hip and that hip, and this ridge here, they're fine. They need to be repointed. But this little ridge across the top, here, again, we could just point over the top of that, but she's all broken all the way through, you see, and we're happy to point over that. I just want to let you know that the point over that is really a bit of a dodgy brother, and that's the kind of thing that most roof restorers would just point over the top of that without worrying about fixing it, and that's not a full restoration. Over here, multiple chips and breaks, as you know. Here's a tile that's not even sitting, the water course is not sitting in the right place. We've got two tiles broken, clean down the guts there. They'll be letting in water for sure. Around the back here, which is, we've got a tile here which is right in the back of this, which means we'd have to break some of this to get that one out. So we can deal with that. That's not a big issue. Here's an interesting problem. You can see here, these are cracked all the way through, and you've got several of them. Now again, we can bodgy them up, and I say to use the word bodgy because that's what you'd be doing if we did that. Really, I'll just see if I can walk in through. Looks like people have been. Okay. Now, you can see here, this is your gable. Okay. Now, just about every roof restorer that I know is just going to give a light coat of pointing over the top of this. Now, I can tell you right now that if you point over the top of that, it is just going to break. It's going to crack straight through the new pointing within a couple of months. Okay, now this is fibro here, or asbestos, depending on the age, and you can see she's not in real good shape. Okay, now when it rains, even if you point over the top of this, okay, and take away these cracks and make it look nice, the truth of the matter is you can't fix that crack. Okay, that crack there, you can't get pointing down into that hole, and you can see it is just falling apart. Okay, and it's all the way along. We'll zoom in up there, and you can see she's fraying up there all the way along. Now, a proper full restoration, and here we go, right over there. You can see on the other side. Now, the pointing is not going to cover that. Okay, that's just going to cover the outside skin on here. It's not going to cover underneath. You can't cover that. Okay, so we can do a paint over the top and make it look pretty, or we can do a full restoration. And a restoration is where we would actually pull this up. Okay, we put a galverge in there and rebed it, and that's what should happen. And we cut some new tiles for here and do it properly, and in that way she's good for another 20 years, 30 years, whatever. Okay, I've pretty much covered the roof. As far as the tiles, you've been up here, you've seen that's worn through to bare cement there. This brown here is mission brown, which is what the roof was once upon a time, and that's the oxide, as you can see there, powdering up. That's just oxide, and there is no protective cover on that roof whatsoever, so now's the time to coat the roof to protect it. It will also give you better heat reflective qualities as well. So you can see here, this is all broken through here. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. I'll put the quote together. Thanks, Luke. Cheers.